on national security. And that's why I want your attention and indeed the attention of Nigerians. Mr. President, if you recall that banditry started in Zamfara State, and about 9 years ago, nobody thought that it would spread to neighboring states. But we didn't take immediate measures to arrest the situation. And gradually, it spread to neighboring states of Sokoto, Zamfara, Katsina, Kaduna, and even beyond, even Niger State. So this Lakurawa movement is a terrorist movement in Nigeria. Even though as far back as 4 years ago, some of them moved to Sokoto, and I think during the reign of Governor Aminu Tambuwal, now Senator, he contacted the then president, and armed military men were sent, and quite a number of them were killed. So, Mr. President, the time to act is now if we want to control the spread of this terrorist. Mr. President, we have been discussing about security in this Senate. I want us to recall what happened in the 8th Senate and the 9th Senate. We had discussed extensively on how we can tame the tide of banditry and terrorism. We made recommendations, 5 detailed recommendations, and we asked the executive arm of government to implement those resolutions. Mr. President, it is still relevant for us to insist that those resolutions should be implemented. And if we do so, quite honestly, it will reduce the incidence of banditry and insurgency in this country. In fact, we can reduce it to the barest minimum. Mr. President, lastly, I associate myself to all the prayers contained in the motion heavily moved by Senator Yahya Abdullahi. And let me end by commending the security agents who immediately sent in reinforcement, and that made it possible to send away the terrorists and also recover the rescued cows. And that has brought relative peace to the area. And I also commend the government of Kebbi State by sending relief materials to the affected area. The governor was there yesterday to commiserate with the people. Thank you, Mr. President.
To state, to the glory of God Almighty, we had an encouraging of this group, possibly, and I think I may be correct, for the first time in Sokoto State in 2018. And we had to mobilize in collaboration with the federal government to dislodge them and disperse most of them. It was a very, very well carried out operation by the security personnel. I was therefore surprised, Mr. President, when I read in the press some security officers or officials saying that this was the first time that we had such an incursion of this terrorist group in Nigeria. That is not correct. And Mr. President, I support all the prayers of this motion. We need to nip this in the bud. It's too serious for us to allow to take it lightly, because these people are well armed with sophisticated weapons, and I believe they even have some international connections. Therefore, there is a need for the government of Nigeria to take this matter very, very seriously. Otherwise, it may snowball, as did the banditry from Zamfara into virtually every part of northwestern Nigeria and several parts of north central. So I support this motion, Mr. President, and I urge our colleagues so to do. Thank you very much.
As opposed to the motion, we go to the prayers. Prayer 1, all the Nigerian military to maintain their presence and vigilance in the affected communities to halt the activities of this Lakurawa group from spreading further across the region. I would have put the question, but I think we should commend the military for their prompt action already. No, I know in the prayer, we should first commend the military for their prompt action. Then before we tell them to maintain their presence. Is there anybody that will amend this prayer 1? To say that commend the Nigerian military for their prompt response to these insurgents, and then also urge them to maintain their vigilance in the affected communities to halt the activities of this Lakurawa group from spreading further across the region. Those in support of prayer 1 as amended say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Most of all Nigerians who have so far been killed by these insurgents infiltrating the country from Burkina Faso and Mali, known as Lakurawa Group, rest in perfect peace.